Today I'm going to put together a Langstroth hive designed by Reverend Langstroth in the 1800s. This is probably what you're going to start with. There's other options, but they're a little more technical and have other purposes. The beauty of this hive is it can be taken apart and put back together with multiple sizes, and it makes it a lot easier for the beekeeper to take care of his bees. This is the bottom board. It's got 3/8 inch of opening this way, or if you turn it over, it's got a 3/4 inch entrance here. And I'll show you the entrance now. On top of the bottom board goes a super, or a brood chamber in this case, because it's on the bottom. That's where the brood would go in the hive. The queen would lay her eggs in the brood chamber of the hive. Now, let's look at this again. If I turn this over, then it's only 3/8 of an inch. Just enough that bees can go in and out without any problem. The deep body goes on the bottom. That's where the worker bees draw out the comb, so the queen can lay eggs in them, and the brood will be raised there, and the workers will cap them over before they hatch. Inside the brood chamber will go frames. These are interchangeable frames. In this particular case, this box takes 8 frames, but you also get it more commonly a 10-frame box. The reason for the 8 frames is because it's lighter. And getting old like me, well, you have to think about things like that. So that goes in like that, and you have, in this case, 7 more. After that, you can put on a honey super, or another deep box. Let's do another deep box. This is a deep box. And for overwintering, this is the typical way you would do an 8-frame hive. And the bottom would be the brood, and the top would be honey for the bees. This is not honey you get. This is honey that they store and use for the winter. Anything above that, you can take. I didn't have an 8-frame super handy, so I'm going to use a 10-frame to demonstrate the next one. This is what is called the super. If it was an 8-frame, well, it'd be a little bit shorter, but if it was, you know, for a 10-frame, the other boxes would be wider. But anyway, this is what the honey would go in that you might be able to rob off at the end of the year. There's one more super, and that's a shallow super that you can make comb honey with. I'll show you one of those. So that's a shallow super, just a little smaller. That's deep. Also for honey, for making comb honey, or if you just don't want the weight. Of course, whenever you use shorter supers, they're lighter, but you have to have more of them to do the same job. So on top of whatever you have, whether you got supers or not, would be an inner cover. And here is a space for ventilation. But in some cases, you may not want ventilation. You may want an upper opening so that the bees could get in at a higher point. In that case, you turn this over. Then on top of that would be your telescoping cover. So at the end of your first year, that's the amount of hive you would probably have. You have the brood chamber for the queen and the brood and the worker bees and the drones, and then above that you would have the honey stores that would be for the bees. Anything you put above the brood chamber and the honey super for the bees would be a super for you, for your honey, for your harvest. In the first year, you're very likely not to get enough honey because the bees are drawing out the comb and working a lot harder to get the hive ready for winter. And there's just not enough honey and stores to make extra honey for you. Not necessarily, but probably. So that's the Langstroth hive. The thing is, the first year, you'll be advised to get 2. In case something goes wrong with the first one, you'll have resources in the other one. That's another story. We'll get it on another day. Thank you for watching.